Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Monday, June 8th, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It is Monday, so Monday we do the weekly giveaway. Weekly news and giveaway from last week, actually. In the offing, just like the week before, a second copy of Antonio Banderas' 13th Warrior. We have figured out who it is. Unfortunately, they've not gotten back to me. They have the option to turn it down. If they're out of the country and not in the 48 states, then I ask them to help with the shipping if they want it. And I don't know yet if they have turned it down or decided that they want the... And I don't know if they're out of the country or not. I don't have an address on them, so that's kind of the sticking point. Not that if they're in the 48 states, they'd necessarily take it. And they may already have a copy. They may say, you know, I've got one of those. Don't really need another once you send it to somebody who hasn't seen it. There is that possibility. So until I get a hold of them, I can't make an official announcement. We'll see. Maybe they'll pop in the stream chat today. We'll keep that option open. If they do, I will have a quick whisper with them, and we'll see what they say. Remember, for the giveaway, all you have to do is be on Twitch, follow the OK Grognard Show channel, and pipe in at some point during a live stream in the stream chat, even just to say hello. And by doing that, you will be automatically entered into the weekly giveaway drawing. As I said this week, copy of the 13th Warrior DVD. Hoorah! I love that little drawing on the title placard. It's just a public domain image from way back when, late 1800s, early 1900s, a children's book. I'm not even 100% sure who the artist is. You know what might be fun? Here's an interesting thing. It's from a more English fairy tales book, but as long as we've got a sort of a open slot here, I wonder if we can take a minute to show some people, because I had a question the other day about doing using public domain images. So if you find something or scan something from an old book that's before, in the US, 1923, so that you are absolutely sure it's in the public domain, you can go to this little website, TinEye, and you can enter an image that you have. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. Got it over here. Got it down here. Now I know this is from a book called More English Fairy Tales, but that doesn't mean it will show up as that. It may have been used elsewhere first. Could be used a bunch of different places. So Searched over 41.4 billion images, 22 results. This was the name of the file as I knew it. And here we go. It's being used all over the place. A lot of Zazzle. Somebody did some painting on it. Now, if they've colorized an image and you've got the original black and white, you can't just use the one that somebody else has colorized. They have, in essence, created a new image with this value add. By colorizing it, they have made it their own, even though the original was in public domain. That doesn't mean that theirs is. There are some borderline cases where they've only added a couple of this or that's, but if they do something as extensive as completely color in an image, they've made artistic choices. You can be almost guaranteed that if you ever got in a legal dispute over it, they would probably win out because they've done extensive changes to the original public domain image. If they just crop it differently, that probably would not be enough. You know, I'm no lawyer. Don't take this as legal advice. Let's see here. Gutenberg. Okay, so here we go. When you can find a site where something like this is located, like Gutenberg.org, which is a website that takes public domain stuff and puts it online for free for anyone's consumption and use, then you know what you're getting to is some information on where this originally comes from. Also, conspicuously named illustration number 25. Notice 3 digits. A lot of times people will do that because they expect to go over 99 and want to make sure that they stay in order in their files. So not necessarily the case, but something they probably do routinely because they sometimes have books that they've scanned in and put up online that have more than 100 images. So let's have a look. Here we go. More English fairy tales. Release date, okay. Do we have an original date on here? I don't see one just yet. Here we go. It'll be down here somewhere. John D. Batten does some good images here. We were just talking about him, me and another fellow. Lost Nomads in the chat. Oops. Log into Twitch. What's going on with that? Let me just do something here. Because I am somehow... Nope, I'm in there. There we go. All right. Don't want to mess around with that right now, so we'll leave that alone. The John D. Batten illustrated this volume of More English Fairy Tales, which means these different images that are in here you will find will be from him. There's a ton of different stories. The text for these also in public domain, so if you wanted to reprint some of these stories with your own illustrations, if you wanted to take some of these stories and change them in some way or adjust them, full page illustrations, blah blah blah, there we go. Let's just zip down to Princess of Canterbury. So we've got this little story of the Princess of Canterbury. Is it a good story? I don't know. A lot of these are pretty rudimentary. Oye! When I was in grad school, our literary journal was Monday for us is always an giveaway announcement. And our journal was called Oye. That was at Roosevelt University in Chicago, where I went for an Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing after getting English and Communication degrees from Northeastern Illinois University. Lovely. Anyway, these images are in the public domain. I think we're into non-image territory down there, but we get back up here. Lots of little ones. They're interesting enough. They might be useful. I don't know. I'm not a fan of certain old styles of art that use what have been come to be seen as racial stereotypes of religious groups in this case. So watch out for those. You'll get some backlash if you use stuff like that. You probably don't want to use it anyway. It's not all that good. Lambden Worm. Good fighting picture there. That's not a bad thing. That might be interesting. Don't know how useful that might be. Some foxes teared up I don't know. Is that a dead fox with them? Are they all getting shards of something? Is that a squirrel, possibly? No, that's a duck, huh? Is that a duck's head? Alright. There we go. Watch out for somebody who opens the door to a tree for you. Somebody's going to milk the cow. Happy to see ya. Thank you very much. I've been waiting. Little bull calf. Interesting. Monkey in the tree is interesting. Looks a little out of place in this environment, maybe. Young boy climbing up in the tree, too. Okay. Riding a fish. Wistfully looking in the woods. Cat in a fire. That's a dangerous looking thing. What else we got here? Looks like, I don't know. What is that? Is that a camel? What's that tail look like? Ghost camel? Waking you up? I don't know. If I read the story, it probably would tell me what it is. Almost to the top here. Let's see. Sleeping guards at a gate. You could steal this possibly for something, and I say steal. I should say repurpose. These are weird. The hobyas. Okay. Almost like goblins or something, I guess. John D. Batten. Alright, well, there's some limited use stuff here. There's a witch and a person hiding in a tree from the witch. The old witch. A couple of bears throwing a fox out a window. Peddler of Swaffham. Okay, kind of a rustic look. Old London town maybe with that bridge. I don't know. Bones. Pixies using it as a seesaw. That could be used as is, or you could do a little quick erasing and put a couple lines there, and you'd have yourself some bones with the thing. It's a piece of incidental artwork, right? A little spot art for a place. A couple of ogre-looking guys. Those are useful. Flautist. King. Courtiers. Queen maybe back here. Okay. Could be a piece of spot art for something. You get rid of that crown. Draw on the rest of the hair and the forehead and have yourself a non-Victorian Regal artist, writer, bard. I've used this one. Little funny combat there. Guy on a boat. What do we got here? Windy Times. Anyway, Project Gutenberg. You can find all sorts of interesting things. You can go through this website. There's one we're using for the opening piece today. Just kind of fun. Pied Piper, right? Getting all the rats out of town. Pied Piper, there you go. So, handful of useful ones. Otherwise, a bunch of direct. Now, some of this is going to be of a certain size. If we were to open this image in a new tab, we'd see it's very useful at that size. However, if somebody has found a way, you could personally increase it and do the work. But if somebody else has increased it and hasn't actually fundamentally changed it, just changed the size, still yours if you want. If they have not made any significant artistic changes to it, then you can utilize that image. So you can do a quick Google search, and I'm in Chrome, so this is how it works in Chrome. John D. Batten is the illustrator. Hey, by the way, other images by him, largely. Died August 32, so don't forget, some of his later work is going to be beyond public domain. So be careful about that. There's a bunch on Pinterest. So you're going to have to figure out where they come from, right? And that tin eye search should get you to some place like Gutenberg where it tells you the original source and the year, because that's primarily important. The year that this here, Folklore Society 1892, is part of the text in there. So this is at least that old, right? No actual date here, right? That's problematic in some cases, but because the preface includes a date, then we know that this is older, old enough to have been, and it's on Project Gutenberg, which means it's in public domain, or they wouldn't be using it. This is all their disclaimer text at the end of the tale. You may be able to actually find source. I've taken a point here and a point there from various English versions mentioned in the next section. So you can look through the notes at the end that they use to justify utilizing this as in public domain. And get that information down there as well. Sometimes it's obvious, it's right up top. Sometimes you got to dig around a little bit to find it. Nevertheless, John D. Batten, more illustrations. There's a lot of good stuff here, possibly, right? It all depends. This is interesting. That's Odysseus, right? Dressed up like a sheep, trying to get out of the, well, it should be the Cyclops cage, but he clearly has two eye sockets. Pretty buck. Okay, so maybe it's not quite that. But, again, there are some interesting drawings here that could be useful for various publications. You just got to dig through them. Then you got to figure out where they come from. You could take something like this and darken this in and make this just a plain thing, and just a monster coming up from underground. Get rid of all of this and utilize just this. There are different ways to go. Link in a new tab, open image in a new tab. We do that, then we can search Google for image. That's the way I usually go, because that'll give us from Dante's Inferno, which he illustrated. We just have to figure out when. Here's a Google book search. 43 in 1900. There we go. So that's from Dante's Inferno. Then this is In the Safe Zone. No fundamental changes, although that's got a tan background. You might want to clean that up. It's good size. Link in a new. Whoops, don't want to do that. We want to go open the image in a new tab so we can get a clean version of it. We'd have to clean it up, but it's something useful, right? Anyway, I hope that wasn't taking us too far afield. Sometimes it's nice to, not related to anything today, but I wanted to mention that since I usually miss the Saturday stream, the Daily Motion website. Sure. In the Daily Motion website has Conan cartoons on it for anyone interested. Okay, well, they are under copyright, so I don't know that I'm certainly not going to link anybody there. But if somebody wants to buy them, say on Amazon for themselves, and sync up and watch along, that's fine. I don't run the sound, as you know. And when I do the Saturday cartoon reviews, for review purposes, then, but yeah, if somebody wants to watch them alongside, then that's something to do. I don't know. It's kind of fun, I would think, for somebody to watch them, I guess, in advance. And that way they know the story and know what to expect from the animation, and then can kind of commiserate with me about what they've done with the animation or where they've taken the story. So far it all seems pretty good. It's actually rated pretty high on IMDb for, was it like 8.6 as a series, which is pretty darn high, particularly for a kids show. It's been around long enough that it's gotten a good number of ratings, over 1,000. So it's not just ravening fandom boosting up its numbers. But yeah, that's a good point. If somebody wants to search it out and watch it ahead of time, I'd certainly suggest plunking down some dollars and getting it for a collection. It's worthwhile. If it was crap, I wouldn't say that. But I think it's worthwhile. Don't forget, June 29th, and this is set up. I'll put a link in the show notes, as it were. Monday, June 29th, all day, Harryhausen Day. Ray Harryhausen, master of dynamation, as they called it, stop motion animation, for many, many films, going all the way back. I think his first feature was Mighty Joe Young, which this large gorilla. He was heavily influenced by seeing King Kong as a youngster, and it got him to doing this sort of work. He did some shorts on his own with dinosaurs. He did a bunch of what I think are really great gamer movies, such as Jason and the Argonauts, the original. Several Sinbad movies, 7 Voyages Sinbad, Sinbad and the Golden Voyage. There's a third one. Clash of the Titans, people will remember, I'm sure. The original one from, I think, 81 was his last film. Mysterious Island's really cool. It's got that battle with the giant crab, and it's got fights with giant bees, and it's got all sorts of creatures in it. And then, so I'll put a link in there. Go join up. It's a Monday. I'll be actually kicking off the weekend, make it a whole Harryhausen weekend for me. I've got like DVDs of like 7 different movies. I got one DVD collection and holds several together, and then a couple of others. I'll have to break those out, and I'll be watching those movies all weekend and enjoying them. It'll be a way of honoring Harryhausen. You'll note June 29th, 1920, the year he was born. He died in 2013 at the age of 92. This year would have been his 100th birthday. So I think appropriate to make a day, even make a weekend of it, since it's on a Monday. Probably watch 1 or 2 on Friday, same Saturday and Sunday. Catch the last 1 or 2 on Monday, depending on what I have time to do, because I think there's about 7 that I think are the epitome of what he does. The aforementioned Clash of the Titans. Don't care much for the acting or story in that personally, but the animation, well worth it. The Sinbad movies, the Jason and the Argonauts, Mysterious Island, all of those right up there as some of his best work. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Mighty Joe Young you could watch. Came from Beneath the Sea is another one. But those ones have limited, as do his early Alien movies, have limited amounts of animation in them. So look to his later stuff to fill out. Valley of Gwangi. There you go. Dinosaurs in the Old West. There's a combination. There's some good stuff in there. What else we got going on? I mentioned yesterday, I think, that I'm working on an Old School Zine. It'll be digest size. You print it out yourself. It'll be black and white. I think it's going to be 16 pages. It'll have an adventure in the middle. It'll have a couple of monsters, a couple of magic items, a couple of NPCs, a few other things, and all of it should tie together nicely. This will be the first one. I'm not sure when it's due out yet. I still got a number of things I have to clear up with it before I can put a release date on it. But I just want people to know it is in the works. Looking at the schedule going forward, today is Monday. We've got cartography and world building on Tuesday, campaign discussion on Wednesday, focused mostly on Grimwald, my own setting. Crafting and painting on Thursday, building virtual tabletop adventures on Friday, as Lost Nomad pointed out. DM cartoon reviews on Saturday, and Back to the Rules retrospective on Sunday to round out the week. And so join us every day, 9:30 a.m. Any day you're free, pop on in, check us out. I thank you if you're on the Twitch channel. Please do follow and chime in. Lost Nomad, I've got you in for the giveaway for this week. Also, if you are catching up with this on YouTube, please do subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, maybe a comment. All feedback is good, positive or negative, and I would appreciate it. And what do you think, Lost Nomad? Just saying goodbye then, I guess, huh? Thank you very much for popping in. I appreciate it. As I said, I have to hold off on the announcement until I can actually contact the person who won. But if you haven't heard from me, then it wasn't you. So my apologies. But get in for this week. Haven't yet decided what to do. I think we're going to do Hildebrand poster for sure. I'll show them off tomorrow. Thank you very much. You have a great day and a great week.